football season with promo code football. All right, let's get to the game of the week, Thursday Night Football, opening night of week 1 of the NFL season. It's your Dallas Cowboys taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Let's look quickly at what our model says is likely to happen in this game, and then we can start to talk where some of the edges might be and how to attack betting this game. On the money line, we've got the Eagles as a 76% likelihood to win this game outright. Against the spread, our model favors the Cowboys to cover at 8.5 points with a 52% likelihood, so a slight lean there. Then our model also leans toward the under. The total is set at 47.5 points, 54% probability that the under hits in this football game. As we talk through these, Dave, does anything jump out as the biggest edge or the best bet to you?
Best bet is definitely on the under, at least when you're looking at the odds and the dimers probabilities. 54% to the under, odds of -105. That's almost even money. So you're getting about a 3% edge there, 4% depending on where you get the odds. The spread is an interesting look. It's actually moved to 9.5 on some books since I think this was 6.5 before the Parsons trade. So, we're talking about the impact that a single player can make. Oh, Micah Parsons has apparently moved this line about 3 points. So, he's worth a field goal, I guess. To be honest, this somewhat changes my position on the game. At 9.5, I definitely am more leaning towards a Cowboys cover. 10 points is not wild for them. They've beaten the Eagles when they've been worse in recent years. 8.5 was a little shaky for me. I definitely wouldn't have touched 6.5 even with Parsons. I just don't think they're that tier of team. But 9.5, that's pretty interesting to me. Our spread probability actually went out to 55% from the 52% it was at 8.5. So you're not getting as good odds, which is why I say the under is still the best bet. The value is there. You have to pay about -118, -120 on the spread, but it's a slightly higher probability. And this is going to somewhat change my prediction later on. But yeah, I do think the Cowboys have a chance at covering 9.5, especially with a backdoor, as opposed to the opening 6.5 or the 8.5 it moved to.
It's one of the beautiful things about the way the Dimers model works. As well as lines shift, our probabilities shift. And we, in real time, will update and tell you what the latest edge is. We see this happen all the time, especially in football, right? Something happens. Maybe a guy is scratched last second and all of a sudden the spread is 3 points off of where it was an hour ago. Sometimes you scramble as bettors and you just want to get that bet in before kickoff and you don't know what's happening. Dimers, again, makes it really, really easy. As things shift, the model shifts and tells you where the value is. And certainly we have seen value move from one side to another with the snap of a finger here. So, this spread is one I probably personally wouldn't touch. And I feel like, not to speak for you, but I hear a little hesitancy in your voice too. And I think part of the reason for me, number one, it's week 1. There's a lot of new faces on these teams. We don't know exactly how the new arrivals are going to feel, but I think key football numbers really matter to me. And whenever you play in between that 6.5 to 9.5 to 10 even number, like I would rather get to a full touchdown. If I'm at 6.5 and make it 7, I would like to get to a full 10, a touchdown and a field goal instead of 9.5. And it sits there basically at pick'em right now at Cowboys plus 9.5. If I was going to back the Cowboys, I would force my way to buying half a point and get up to 10. Now, you can get yourself in trouble doing that too, because you've got to pay attention to what premium you are paying. And that's why the Dimers model is so beautiful. It can help you make sure you're not paying too expensive of a premium. But for me, that's why this is just a stay away. I hate the number. It's a half point off the key number that I want to get to as a better. When I look at this game, I do see the total as the better side to play here. And I am going to back the under and follow the Dimers best bet as the highest edge for this game. I do think the Eagles are going to be great, and we don't know what the Cowboys will be. You would think that they should roll here, but we know that the Super Bowl hangover effect has been real at times. And at the same time, you could convince me that one of the other psychological tropes in professional sports, the Ewing theory that Bill Simmons perfected, could be real with the Cowboys trying to make a statement with Micah Parsons off of this team. There's too much weird vibes between first game since the ring ceremony and then first game without Micah Parsons for me to know exactly which team is going to underperform here. But I do think it's likely that those new faces I mentioned will take some time. The Cowboys are going to lean heavily on George Pickens this year. He's a volatile player that can break a big play or can go for one catch for 8 yards in a game. Javonte Williams is another guy that has had ups and downs throughout his career. And I don't know. To me, I look at all of the skill position guys that are new on the Dallas side. I won't be surprised if they start out slow. And I won't be surprised if Philly leans on their loaded defense to win this game instead of try to make a statement through the air. So I'm on the under. And if I'm looking for some real long shot value in this game, I think I'm going to target some touchdown value, which I know is one of your favorite ways to bet football. So can you guide me on where we should go in that direction here?
For some TDs in this game, I mean, we actually have an edge, I believe, on last I checked. Like, as we've said, our models update all the time. So let's check right now. Hop into the Cowboys, Eagles full game prediction. Go into our best props and sort by touchdowns. And yeah, both are still there. Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue with an edge to score. We have Javonte Williams at 34.7%, plus 220 odds on FanDuel. And Jaden Blue, rookie from Texas, if I recall correctly, at 17.9% and plus 850 on DraftKings. That is very appealing, Greg. And I know you have here in our show notes some Jaden Blue TD value at 650. So I imagine 850 does quite a bit for you.
I was in at 650 and I'm definitely in at 850. I kind of alluded to it. Javonte Williams, I feel like, has almost always been a guy that has ended up in a backfield by committee approach. And look, new coaching staff, new franchise, you never know exactly what that's going to look like. But there has been a lot of hype around him from time to time that he will emerge as this workhorse back. It just hasn't fully happened. And Blue, as a rookie running back, I like jumping in on rookies early in the season. That's been a profitable experience for me going back 5 years at this point. You can get great value on players that truly break out as stars by week 6 or week 7 by just sprinkling a few long shots that maybe have some role, I don't know, questions coming into the season. To me, even if Javonte Williams is awesome, they're still going to give Blue running back 2 carries. Who knows how it's going to be around the goal line. At 850, I think that's a must bet for me coming into week 1, and I'm all over that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. Look, Javonte Williams, he's shown the burst. I like to think he's probably all the way back from his pretty rough knee injury 2 years ago now. But what he's got, and that stuff changes a guy, and he hasn't looked quite the same since. So we'll see what he's actually got in the tank. I would imagine the Cowboys, Schottenheimer, they will lean on the veteran to start. Don't be surprised to see Javonte Williams take the most carries in this game. And like you said, though, at the goal line, who knows? Jaden Blue, I think he's active, but the backfield's a mess. But Miles Sanders not going in there against his former team. Oh, I didn't even think about that narrative. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to check out Miles Sanders. Probably no good value there, I imagine. He's not in the Dimers model, so he's either not priced or poor odds. But
well, and sometimes those become public too, right? When you have like a narrative for fans to gravitate toward. I remember that used to happen with baseball. When a guy got traded and went up against his former team, we would be in the group chats with Dimers employees like, we got to bet this tonight. And there was rarely ever an edge because the public played it to a number that didn't allow for an edge, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the books are all over the narratives now. So, if you could find one that they haven't attacked, that's a good spot. But
let us know in the Dimers Discord. If you are someone that's able to find one of those, let us know in the Dimers Discord. We'll jump right in.
Yes. Yeah, that's also a Dimers Discord plug. You get access to the Dimers Discord when you have Dimers Pro. It's completely part of it, and you should be in there. If you're a Dimers Pro listening to this and you're not in the Discord, you should get in there. We dropped some extra data feeds. Community is really good in there. We got a guy on a crazy home run parlay here we'll talk about later. Get in there if you got some sneaky plays for us. But yeah, real quick, Jaden Blue's odds though too. If he ends up the RB2 for this team, or even the RB1, you'll never see anytime touchdown odds at this price all season. 850 for an anytime TD in a backfield committee is pretty nuts.
Yep. Yeah. 850 for an RB2 or even an RB3 isn't crazy. Like we've seen teams sprinkle carries around. So yeah, that's my favorite player prop for this game for sure. Speaking of player props, everybody loves to bet same game parlays. It's one of the more fun recreational ways to bet. But I speak from experience in saying this. It's a lot more fun to bet same game parlays when you win your same game parlays. It's not just fun to place them and wait for long shots to ultimately fail. Dimers can help you with this by combining some of our favorite player props for each big marquee game this season. We've been very profitable in the past. Years ago, we were making money almost every single week on stuff like this. So, Dave, take us through our boosted same game parlay this week at Bet365.
Yep, here, I'll pull it up right here so we can all take a look at it. But we've got Cowboys at Eagles, 3-leg same game parlay. We're going to start off with that aforementioned backfield and Javonte Williams for 40-plus rushing yards. The Dimers model projects Williams for 44.1, so not exactly smashing this line, but comfortably over. The last time I checked, his over rushing attempts was also a pretty big value for us in this game, so that suggests to me that he should get the work. And while 40 yards, might be a bit much for a guy we have never seen play for this team, like I said, I expect the Cowboys are going to let the veteran handle the bulk of the carries here. Again, Jaden Blue only played one game in the preseason, I believe. He handled 9 carries. Also a bit of a fumble problem in college. So I would imagine Javonte Williams is going to get his looks here. And hopefully you get this before this game maybe gets a little too out of hands for the Cowboys. Next, we got A.J. Brown, Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver, 70-plus receiving yards. AJ hit this in 3 out of 6 versus the Cowboys last year. And he had some close ones in his career, 3 out of 6 versus the Cowboys in his career, my mistake. And he had some close ones, though, with 66 and 67 in those others. So he's been right there. Cowboys secondary will have Trayvon Diggs back, but they have not really inspired. If you've watched a Cowboys game for the last 2 years, they like to give up a lot of passing yards, and they like to make fools of themselves to star receivers. So the Dimers model projects A.J. Brown for 75.3 receiving yards, and I'm going to happily take him for 70-plus in our boosted parlay.
I like it.
And we'll close it out. Oh, thank you, Greg. Thank you. And we'll close it out as we pretty much always do with an anytime touchdown score, and we are going to go back to A.J. Brown. He has also scored in 3 out of 6 games against the Cowboys. He had 7 touchdowns in just 13 games last year. And his 37.1% probability is our 3rd highest in this entire game. We're going to get this boosted from plus 525 to plus 650 thanks to Bet365. If you go on their app or their sportsbook, click in the game, you will find this sitting right there under their bet boosts where you can tail it and hopefully cash in with us come the end of the game tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're listening to this.
Yes, sir. I'm very curious to see how the Cowboys defense responds without their best player. I mean, we've seen that emotionally change teams very quickly. Again, I think it could be an inspired performance, but even if it is an inspired performance, there's certainly big play possibility against a Micah Parsons less Dallas Cowboys defense. So I'm very in on the A.J. Brown portion of this. And Javonte Williams, like I said, even if there is a different goal line back, even if they're mixing guys, he's going to get the bulk of the main game carries outside of situational spots. So I think this is pretty great value. Plus 650. Make sure you take advantage before Thursday night football.